So I discovered something that changed everything for me. A tiny, tiny shift that took less than 1 second, and I'll show you exactly how to use it. Now, this video almost didn't happen because I was sitting here overthinking as usual and nearly talked myself out of it. Now, if you're over 40 and trying to start a YouTube channel, I bet you've been here too. You tell yourself you're going to start when you feel more ready or when the idea feels perfect. You're stuck in what I call the loop. It sounds like this. I'll start when the idea is better or when it's gelled more. Or I'll record when I have some more energy. Or I'll post when I'm a little bit more confident on camera. And it isn't procrastination exactly. It's more like hesitation, and it's imitating as preparation. There's a specific reason this happens to people over 40 like us. And I'll show you what it is and how to break out of it. I've been creating content on a completely different channel for the last 98 days. And I noticed a pattern. Most days, I just don't feel like doing it at all. But I still hit that record button. Not because I have some, amazing level of motivation or that I'm a productivity machine or anything like that. Something else entirely kicked in. Something super small but powerful enough to change how I create. So why do we get stuck? Because we overthink things. And why is that? Because we know what good content looks like. We've been watching good stuff on TV and, obviously online for like 40 plus years. Our taste is sharp. We have good taste, right? And our standards are pretty high. Now, what I realized was simple. I wasn't relying on motivation. I was catching this tiny fragment of a moment, that second before the excuses start bubbling up. And that's the shift. I call it the 1 second spark method. I know it's kind of dorky, but it works for me. Here's how it works. So the step one is actually creating a cue or a pairing. Okay, so you pair your spark with something that you're already doing every single day. Like for me, it's like pouring myself a cup of coffee, right? So when I do that, I typically come in here and I set up my camera, and that's like my cue, okay? Now, for you, it could be like opening up your laptop. And maybe for you, it could be like just writing a YouTube title, right? Or maybe you take your dog for a walk, which is what I do, and you could speak into your phone with some ideas. So there's no overthinking in this at all. It's just kind of like using it as a natural trigger to create the next action. It's sort of like, brushing your teeth before going to bed, but for creativity. Step two is catching that spark. Okay, so in that 1 second before hesitation kicks in, take a tiny action. Say one sentence out loud, open your camera app. You don't even have to push record, but just look at yourself and speak it, right? Or if you have your laptop open, just write a title, not write an entire script. Shoot a 10-second clip of your desk with your phone. Call it B-roll. Or set up your phone and take a thumbnail photo for your next video. Even if there's no video yet, right? Just an idea. So these aren't really tasks, right? These are like spark plugs. Small moves that crack that door open that could potentially allow for more momentum to kick in. Now let me explain. So this whole thing clicked for me on day 15 of this everyday filming journey that I've been on. Now I was sitting at this desk, no ideas, no energy. I went and made a coffee, sat back down, and I still had nothing. Then I got the spark and I thought, hey, you know what? What if I just turn on the camera? So I did. I didn't say a single word, just sat here. And that actually became the beginning of the video. Not because I was ready, not because it was some amazing idea or anything like that, but because I took action, right? Before I could come up with an excuse in my head, I stopped trying to make the video, and I just made a video. I even labeled it. I actually have a folder called throwaway clips because there's no pressure on those. It's just some action that I took to record something. And the twist is this: some of those throwaways got the best responses on that channel because they were real, unfiltered, right? They were like clips of me and my dogs walking, or just something like I'm recording myself while I'm running or something like that, right? Or walking around. And what matters is that that recording existed, and that beats any perfect idea that you have in your head that you never recorded in the first place. So those 98 days taught me something. Progress doesn't come from huge wins. It comes from like these fragments of or micro moments, right? And these tiny sparks that you catch before they vanish. So one click of that button, one line, I didn't even say a line for the example I used, and it was like, less than 10 seconds of footage. And that's all it takes to break that loop, right? Tiny moves can create more moves, or maybe even a wave, right? And create some momentum. And the more you catch these sparks, the more your brain starts sending them to you, because now it trusts that you're going to do something with it. So build it into your day. Try to make it a habit, like muscle memory. So you can use like these small ordinary moments to maybe trigger something that can become amazing or a successful video, right? Because that spark is always there. You just have to catch it before it like disappears completely. And maybe while you're watching this right now, you're feeling it, right? That spark and the impulse to do something. And that impulse has a 1 second shelf life. So the question is, are you going to catch it, or are you going to just let it slip away? There are 3,599 seconds in this next hour. But this one happened right now. You don't need to plan the whole thing. You don't need a perfect idea. You just need to move before this second just disappears. If you like what you just heard, please like and subscribe. It's just a button click. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.